Pump your brakes.
I'm trying to do what you're communicating. Going over here, trying to lead us, being a leader, what you asked for.
I would lead, or I would allow you to lead if you led with some grace.
We used to fight all the time.
There were nights we didn't even sleep in the same room.
But we didn't give up.
And now,
we're healed. And we're here to help other couples get there too.
Where we have real talk about marriage after the I do.
This is Marriage Matters Conversations. Let's heal together on the I Love Healthy Me show.
So you ready?
Yeah.
I'm just so excited that God has allowed us and entrusted us with more souls again. Yeah. I'm just so ready to do this.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
A little bit, that's to be expected. It's all right. Mm-hmm. I'm ready. So you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
But before we get started, there's something I want to show you. So I need you to come over here for a second. Why are you sitting? I said I wanted to show you something. Tawana, for real? Here we go again. Every time that I try to lead you somewhere, you do your same thing. You don't move. What's going on? What's the matter?
Pump your brakes. You make everything a big deal.
Tawana,
just relax, Melvin.
Look, you want me to lead. When I try to lead, you do the same thing. You don't move. You said you wanted me to lead. What is this about? I'm tired of these problems with you and me when you want me to lead. You do the same thing. You sit. How you want me to lead?
You're making a big deal out of nothing.
Tawana,
pump your brakes.
This is the problem. Every time you ask me to lead, you don't move. I'm tired of this. I'm trying to lead and be a leader, and you sit there. You're the communicator. I'm trying to do what you're communicating, leading, and you're not doing anything.
Okay, so I'm a problem now.
Absolutely.
So I'm a problem now. Over me saying 1 second. I just needed 1 second.
You didn't communicate that. You sat there. I'm going over here trying to lead us, being a leader, what you asked for, and you're sitting there.
Pump your brakes.
Here we go.
I would lead, or I would allow you to lead if you led with some grace.
Here we go.
But since you don't, I'm not following nothing. And in that moment, purpose was aborted. Why? Because I didn't like what he did. And because I didn't like what he did, I convinced myself that I didn't emotionally like him. So I emotionally didn't want to dwell with him. I didn't want to be around him. Didn't want to be a part of him. I stopped wanting to dwell with him. And right there, I mentally and intentionally moved out of alignment with purpose, then emotionally blamed it on him. So many couples get blurred in vision over moments they mishandle emotionally. But see, Jesus, baby, he didn't operate like that.
No, he didn't, and we get so caught up in our own emotional turmoil with stuff like that because we're sensual beings.
Exactly.
Instead of us, going back to what Jesus taught us, we're supposed to esteem each other more than ourselves. But, we tend to be selfish instead of selfless.
And see, he came to destroy division.
Right.
You see, he came to destroy. He literally died just to be in relationship with us.
Right. And that's what he came to show us. But, we still haven't gotten that lesson.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Exactly. Instead of us learning those lessons, we still walk, after the flesh instead of after the spirit.
But you know what? Like I said, he died just so that we can be in relationship with him. But but through that particular relationship with him, he empowered us, right, to be in unity with others for the sake of salvation. Had nothing to do with our agenda, our opinion of anything. But he got in relationship with us so that we can be empowered to get in relationship with others for salvation. Why? Because it's time to go back home. This is not our home.
It's not.
And so when we get out of alignment with purpose, and then we want to be divided and divisive with people, we miss it. Because we're keeping our eyes earthbound.
Exactly.
We keeping our emotions earthbound. But this is not our home.
Right.
He came to save so we can go back.
Right. And what you said is key, because most people, they tend to stay earthbound instead of heaven bound.
Yeah.
Because everything down here is geared for down here.
And it's enticing.
Exactly. I think Paul put it best, in Romans 12:2. He says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by what?
The renewing of your mind.
And nobody really wants to renew their mind.
Exactly.
They're so caught up with everything that's down here, as opposed to renewing their mind for what God has prepared for. Jesus said what? I go to prepare a place for you.
Right.
And why, if Jesus is preparing a place for us up in heaven, why do you want to stay here?
Yeah. But see, let me read Ephesians 2:4. It says, for he himself is our peace, right? Who has made two groups one and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility.
Come on.
So Jesus didn't compartmentalize nobody.
No.
He did not compartmentalize people.
But you said it. He destroyed that barrier.
Exactly. But look how I wanted to be compartmentalized with you earlier on, right? Because I didn't like what you did to me. So I'm going to place you in a category. No, Jesus came to redeem. Jesus didn't place us in categories like, well, she was mischievous, so I'm going to keep her over here. This person is untrustworthy, so I'm going to keep them over here.
See, you started something.
Yeah, I came to redeem the lost.
Come on.
Because you fled from home and I need you back at home, but I need you down here doing the work that I'm demonstrating to you so that we all can go back home. You see, he redeemed. He didn't reduce people.
No.
Not because of their issues. He loved them because of their issues. Because he wanted them to come back home.
So you got my mind racing right now because we get so caught up in races, right? And see, I'm trying to stay within context of what we're talking about, right? So please, you might have to reel me back in. you might have to reel me back in because we always hear about races, but there's only one race.
The human race.
That's it. There's not a black race. There's not a white race. There's not a oriental race. There's one race. God created the human race. A lot of people may not agree with that, but there's only one. Jesus came to redeem us.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
The one race. He came to reclaim us back to the Father. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, whatever it may be. We all came from one person. One. And he came to reclaim us back to the Father. That's it.
That's it.
So what you were saying is completely true. He broke down the walls
of hostility. There's a work that has to be done. At the end of the day, you know me, babe. I'm purpose driven.
We all should be purpose driven.
And we have an assignment every single day. Right? And because we have an assignment every single day, it's the job of the enemy to derail us. But yeah, we gonna get back on topic because remember, Peter denied Jesus, right? He denied Jesus, but
3 times.
Exactly. But Peter wasn't discarded though.
No.
After the resurrection,
why do we discard?
We discard. We compartmentalize. We divide. But he came to break all that up, and so we need to be replicas of that.
What does it say in Ephesians 5:1? Be ye their what? Imitators of who?
Christ.
But how can we be imitators when we want to discard?
Right.
How, he came for us to be what? Redeemed, but we don't want to be redeemers.
Yeah.
We don't want to forgive.
Yeah.
But we want to be forgiven.
Yeah. And then what does that really look like? After the resurrection, what did Jesus say to Peter? He said, Peter, do you love me? He asked Peter that 3 times. Peter, now, if Jesus didn't come to redeem, right? First of all, the Bible says that everything is open and naked before him anyway. So he beholds all things. He beholds the evil and the good, right? But he came down and was here for 33 and a half years and went back home because he came for a reason and left. You know, I say it all the time. We're here too long. We're here too long. We were birthed out of our mother's womb to do a work. After salvation, we're supposed to do the work and go home. But we're here too long because he constantly has to redeem time for us because of sin. That's why it says, lay aside every weight and every sin that easily besets you, that easily gets you off track. Because I brought you in the earth so that you can bring salvation to others through my name, through my blood, and come back home. We're in the earth too long. And some people may not agree with that, but that's all right.
Distraction.
You know, I got that revelation, what was it, about 2-3 years ago when the Lord really began to minister to me the difference between time and eternity. And then when mommy just died, when I spoke her death and didn't even realize it, and when she died, and how I got through the grief, and after the grief, I mean, right after the album release, mommy died, and we had to come back. Right? Not even realizing what was taking place. But I got freed because I said, yeah, it hurts. I miss that she's not here. But her time was up. She served her course. She did what she was supposed to do. Why stay here when there's nothing left for you to do?
This is true. But understand this, yes, we have purpose. Yes, we have destiny. But God holds everything in his hand.
Absolutely.
So yes, we may have to go through time on earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And God holds time.
He
God
does.
is time. God is purposeful in his time.
In time. Yeah. He uses time.
There's a reason why we have so many days on this earth.
Right.
So he's not a wasteful God.
But it's only 7.
Absolutely.
It's only 7 days.
Absolutely. And he's not wasteful in what he does. So he knows what he's doing. So he's given us a purpose for the time frame that he's given us.
Exactly. That's why we have to be ready always.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. And the reason he's doing it is sometimes it's for us, sometimes it's not for us.
Sometimes it's through us.
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing. We have to be ready regardless.
Absolutely.
We have to be ready regardless. So we have to make ourselves just no different from Jesus.
Available.
Jesus, not only was he available, but Jesus was always about his purpose and about the mission.
Thank you. Exactly. Because now check this out. Now, all the other apostles may not have known that God was going to use Peter to bring how many souls? How many souls?
In that one day?
One day. 3,000 souls.
In that one day.
You see what I'm saying?
But
had Jesus been in his emotions, had he compartmentalized his apostles based on their behavior, said, no, I can't deal with that because you're not for me. Listen, it's not about you being for me. It's about the purpose for which God has birthed you in the earth to do the work, right? So we can't get distracted by things, gnats and flies, gnats and flies, gnats and flies that's in the atmosphere, right? And so you got gnats and flies all in the atmosphere, which is behaviors from other people or things, But if Jesus got off his purpose because Peter denied him, Judas was part of the purpose. He had to die. So somebody had to stand up and do what Judas did, And what did he tell Judas? What you came here to do it quickly.
And see, people have to understand some things are necessary. That betrayal was necessary.
Absolutely. Because if he didn't get betrayed, they wouldn't have killed him. They wouldn't know who he was. But my point is, had Jesus got in his emotions and told Peter, go about your business, unfriended him on Facebook, blocked him from Instagram. It is what it is, then then Peter wouldn't have been redeemed. Jesus wouldn't have said, well, Peter, do you love me?
Absolutely.
He asked him 3 times. He said, well, go feed
my sheep.
sheep. And Peter did just that. But had Jesus been in his emotions and cut him off,
Come on.
that opportunity would not have presented himself. But Peter was part of the mission. He was part of the purpose. So at the end of the day, yeah, you may have pissed me off. You may have gotten on my nerves, but I'm not going to divorce you because of that.
Better not.
You know they ain't going down there.
better not.
The whole thing is, when I was single, I thought like a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
I behaved like a single woman. But when I became married, I had to put singleness away.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times when we get into issues, or when we used to get into issues, I would allow the singleness of my mind to come in and separate myself from you like I was a single woman and abort purpose.
Well, we both did that.
Yeah.
We both
Yeah.
moved in that same mindset, that same singleness, that same, we allowed offense
Yeah.
to take up that space, that mindset. Instead of us working together, we worked separately.
Exactly.
And that wasn't God's purpose nor plan for us. That was ours.
Yeah, exactly.
And we couldn't blame
Big
that.
misunderstanding.
We couldn't blame that on the enemy. No, that was us.
We made a choice
Absolutely.
and we stuck to it.
That's it.
Until he came and broke it up.
Exactly.
Blurred vision.
Ooh, come on now. Come on.
Blurred vision. Blurred vision in marriage don't always come from big misunderstanding.
No.
It don't. It comes from the ones we ignore.
Absolutely.
That's what blurred vision comes from. Because we already know what we're called to do. We already know what we have to do it. We know the work that it takes, but we ignore it.
And we make the choice.
Yeah. And because it's not that we don't process it. We process it wrong. It's how we process it. That's what's off. You know what I'm saying? Certainly, I would have followed you because you asked. You asked.
And things could have been communicated differently.
Yeah.
It could have been done at a different time.
Yeah, you could have waited to show me
Absolutely.
later. Clearly because
it's just a matter of how things are done.
yeah, it's just I got frustrated because I'm like, okay, we can restart this podcast. Why he wanting to show me something? Why he getting up? Well, what's going on? Could that not have waited? But I could have communicated that.
Absolutely.
I got in my emotions and I concluded in my own mind and didn't share it. And got frustrated and emotionally wounded and blamed it on you.
But again, I could have been a different way of coming back at you. I didn't have to come back at you the same way.
Yeah.
I didn't have to give you the same energy that I received.
Exactly. It revealed the system that we were working in, singleness.
Mm-hmm.
We're no longer single.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer a part of our marital anatomy, if I can make it up.
Marital anatomy. So we one of the things that we've been working on is resolving things quickly.
Quick, oh my.
And part of that is, recognition is number one.
Yeah.
And when you recognize something, you have to get it, resolve it quickly.
You got to be honest with yourself.
Absolutely. You can't carry on something and think that, you can't get it done.
Because it started with something small.
Yeah.
A difference of opinion. And so you got to be careful with opinions, right? Opinions will abort truth in a matter of moments, but truth trumps all the time. But when we allow our difference of opinion to come in and shatter truth, sometimes it takes so long to get back. And just like that, purpose got snatched immediately right out of our hands. The responsibility that we had for the day was gone because I'm pissed off at you. You done aggravated me. Call it spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? As a couple, it was gone. But for the old system in me, the single woman that I'm trying to resurrect, and I'm no longer single. I'm all the way married, y'all. But when I got pissed off at him, our marital purpose for the day was gone. Because now I don't want to be bothered with you. You can go downstairs. I'll stay upstairs. Or you can stay in the house. And I'm going out for the day. Deuces, I'm out. So the wrong system got resurrected and aborted our marital purpose for the day. Listen, those distractions, they come to destroy. You see what I'm saying? Why? Like I said, because our singleness should be dead. But it's still taking up space in our marriage. Oh, we're going to talk about it today. Yeah, we're going to talk about it today. The power and the assignment of distractions. What started out as a moment spiraled into division. Distractions don't always show up as arguments, y'all. Sometimes they sound like silent assumptions in your mind. They look like doing things your own way without communication. Y'all saw it, right? Because it was just for a second. That's what I said. That's what I told myself in my mind, but didn't communicate that with him. I told myself that and then came back and said, but I told you I just needed a second. Never audibly said that. And a lot of times that's what we do in marriage. We'll say something in our mind, right? He's not hearing it, but
Right.
I heard it.
That part.
But I never said it. I felt it. It took up residence and destroyed what we were called to do that day. Not even if it was for somebody else, but for one another. Our purpose for one another that day. It destroyed it. It was gone. Right? But in that second, disconnection was entered. And in that silence, unity was compromised.
Because all it took was communication.
That's it.
You know, and when you don't communicate, or when you think that you communicated and you didn't, it causes distraction.
It really does.
You know, and
It does.
for me, that's always been a big part for me. I'll think that I'm communicating when I haven't. No different from what took place today. She thought she said something to me when she did.
It was in my mind.
And I'm sitting up here, I'm like, you didn't say nothing.
Exactly.
You know, and I know that I have been guilty of that, you know, because I have a lot of thoughts that go on, or I've had a lot of thoughts that have gone on in my head. And I'm saying to her, I said that, and she looked at me like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And I'm like, yes, I did. No, you didn't. So, and again, I have to give way to her because she's the receiver. And when she says I haven't, I have to give way to that, because then I sit back and like, well, maybe I didn't say that. You know, but again, because you want to have peace in the home,
Right.
you have
Right.
to. You have to. Because would you rather be happy than be right? That's a question that we all need to ask. Wouldn't you rather be happy than be right? Because at the end of the day, if you want to be right, y'all gonna argue all the time.
Yeah, because what is the purpose for that distraction?
Thank you.
You know, the purpose for the distraction is to divide. So in the beginning, you know, we would get in, those type of spats will go on for days. Days. Not 1, 2, 3 days. 29, 20, 30 days.
Nah,
It will
I don't know
linger.
about all that.
Yeah, it will linger that long. So the purpose for distraction is to divide.
Right,
But remember, we said earlier on, Jesus came to destroy division
right.
through relationship, right? And so because we're in relationship, when we see and recognize division, first of all, we got to see and recognize it, right? And after seeing and recognizing it, we have to see it as that's the truth in that moment. So let's abolish it, right? So that's 3 steps. Seeing it and recognizing it, right? Then seeing it as truth for that particular situation to divide. Then as we see it for the truth that came in to divide, then we need to demolish it, right? So I can let babe know that hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he chooses to acknowledge the hurt that he has inflicted, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, right? But it doesn't stop right there.
No.
right? Because now that has to be abolished out of the system of marriage. Right? Because singleness came in the way singles think. Singles think differently than married people.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
we're together. So we have to work together. When you're single, you don't have to work with anybody
No.
because you're not
Single.
married.
You're single.
Single. Yeah, right. So
You don't have nobody to depend on.
Exactly. So I got to consider him. He got to
Absolutely.
consider me, right?
Absolutely.
And so if I've done something to offend him, I got to be considerate now. I have to be unselfish now, right? So distraction, it's not random.
No, it's not. And then
It's strategic.
Absolutely. And the other thing with distractions, they're not always grand, they're subtle. You have to understand that they don't have to be these loud and boisterous things. They're real subtle. You go back to in the garden, talks about how the serpent came to Eve and he did it subtly. He didn't come in, with a loud marching band. He came in subtly. He deceived her subtly.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything to make her, on guard. He did it real slick like, just like how things happen today. Brothers come to these girls today subtly to do whatever it is that they do it real slick like. Same thing with these women. They do things slickly today. It don't take a whole lot to get people to do things you want them to do nowadays.
Charisma is fleeting.
Come on. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Come on. People are getting scammed real subtly today. Y'all know I'm talking right.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a whole lot to take people for what they got. And this is what's happening in the world today. Same thing in marriages. It don't take a whole lot to upset somebody's marriage today. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's a whole mess right there.
It doesn't take a lot to make people break off in their marriages.
Yeah.
But what it does take to keep a marriage together is hard work.
Yeah. Consistent work. Everyday work. Recognizing your purpose for that day for your spouse.
Absolutely.
And working at it. And then recognizing, when distraction comes. Because distraction is there's an assignment behind it. Division. Like I said earlier, it comes to disconnect and detour our marriage from its original intent. Why did God connect me with you? Why did God connect you with me? What is the original intent of our connection? You see what I'm saying? So you have to recognize what your calling and what your purpose is for your marriage. It's different than when you were single, sweetheart.
Absolutely.
Listen, just like the Israelites, God told Moses, go tell Pharaoh, let my people go to worship me in the wilderness for 3 days.
3.
1, 2, 3. And 3 days turned into 40 years in the wilderness.
So Ladybug, how'd I do?
Oh, my king, you do what you do, and you do it well.
Oh, girl, don't start. None won't be none.
Well, you know how we do now.
Oh, girl, come on, bring it in.
And just like that.
Love wins again.
Because we spoke truth, and we showed love.
No masks.
No shame, just us.
Just us.
Well, I'm Dr. Rock.
And I'm Dr. Melvin.
Tune in next time for our podcast on mental health and marriage with conversations. God bless you all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. May God bless you. May God keep you. Marriage matters. Yes.
Why don't you
Hallelujah. Woo! My.